Good evening and welcome again to Level Up. Thanks for being here today. Glad to have you on for joining in. Today, I'm your host, Everton, along with my co-host, Pam.
Good evening, everyone. We are so grateful to have you here with us today. We're so excited and sad because we missed last 2 weeks.
We did.
We
Well,
missed you
we're
all,
back.
so we're
Miss
back
you guys.
today.
Welcome back. We're back today.
We're back here. Today we are exploring what it really means to release yourself from purpose. We hope you will be inspired to take some action in your life.
I know you will inspire. Today, I have a special guest. A dear friend of mine is here today, no other than Kirk Campbell. Kirk, welcome to Level Up. Good to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Kirk.
Thank you
So
very
nice
much.
meeting you. Pleasure.
Just such a honor to be here and looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely. Your new book, Release for Purpose. I can't wait to dig into that and to dive into this book. I saw it came out and I was so excited. Release for Purpose. And I know that there's so much that we're going to get from this book. But before we go into it, let's just do a little intro
Of course.
about the book. Go ahead.
Kirk D. Campbell's new book, Released for Purpose, Breaking Chains, Unlocking Destiny, is live on Amazon. Get your copy today.
And the video is playing? It's played. Okay, awesome. That was quick. So, Kirk, tell us about this book.
Well, thank you for having me. As you see, Release for Purpose, Breaking Chains, Unlocking Destiny. This book started 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago that I got the desire, the aspiration to write this book. And interestingly enough, I started writing the book. I wrote a few chapters, and fear came knocking on my door. And I know you're laughing because I let him in.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you.
I let him in, and what I thought maybe would be a 30-second conversation turned almost into an assault. Some of the questions that he was coming at me at, you're not an author, you're not a writer, you don't have the pedigree, you don't have the qualifications, you don't have the educations, you're raising young children, you're pursuing your career, this is just not the right timing. And before you know it, I put away my notes, put away my manuscript, and moved on and continue living life as usual. But full circle, fast forward 10 years after, and here we are, the very book that fear told me would never be written. It is written. It is now published. It's on Amazon and many other platforms where books are sold. So I'm hoping as your audience, as you're listening, that they will be able to take something away from, regardless of whatever they've started or didn't finish. There's an opportunity to return, to finish it off, and to watch and see where the Lord will take it.
Before we go into the question that we have lined up for you,
Yes.
are you saying to us that this book was on pause for 10 years?
Yes, in a holding pattern for
Wow.
10 years.
Wow.
Time is not wasted. It's interesting that even though I was thinking I was delayed for 10 years, I wasn't able to bring it out until after a decade. Over the last little while, the Lord was sharing with me that even in all of this time, He was preparing me.
Wow.
And what I didn't know, unbeknownst to me, that some of the principles in the book I was practicing. I'm a project manager by profession, 20 years practicing project management in the private sector for the last 18 years. 2 years I've been with the government of Canada. So in this book, some of the principles I was practicing without knowing. I'm also involved in prison ministry for 20 years. I've been serving in prison ministry across Canada. So many of the things in this book, I was already teaching all these transformational programs for the inmates. So the time wasn't wasted. And if there's anything that your listeners are able to take away, that wherever you are, you might think that time has slipped away. There's no expiration on purpose.
Wow.
There's no expiration on purpose. As long as we're alive, there's no expiration on purpose. So, yes, but this is 10 years in the making.
In the making.
Yes.
Not time wasted.
Not
God
time
was
wasted.
It's
preparing you.
research.
So when you
Yes.
thought that the dream died,
Yes.
that hope died, God was preparing you for something greater. Before we go into that book, Pam
Yes.
have some questions that she's going to
Yes,
ask you.
of
But before we
course.
do that,
Yes.
tell the audience about Kirk. Who is Kirk Campbell?
Of course, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Kirk D. Campbell. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Allison. We've been married actually, and Monday we celebrated 24 years of marriage.
24 years.
Thank
That's
you.
a feat. In today's day and age, 24, it's a great feat, man. We applaud you for that.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
We give God praise. And together we have two lovely sons, Luke and Liam. As I alluded to in the onset, I'm a project manager by profession. So for the last 20 years, I've been in project management. Equally as well, I've been serving in prison ministry for the last 20 years in multiple prisons in Canada. And in between, the last decade, I've been serving in global missions, having the opportunity to go to places like Cuba a few times. Last year, we were in New York with a team of 18, feeding the homeless and the marginalized. So those are some of the things that I've been involved with and been doing, and looking forward to continuing our conversation.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I love what you said, that time was not wasted.
Absolutely.
We all learn, and we have heard time after time that it's God's timing.
Yes.
And so let's call it R&D, right? Research
Yes.
and development
Yes.
until we get there.
I like that.
Kirk, this word purpose
Yes.
has become such a buzzword.
Yes.
It's everywhere on social media.
Yes.
It's in the personal development world.
Yes.
And everyone's asking, what is my purpose?
Yes.
It feels like something that we are chasing or something that we're finding. And Kirk, your book is called Released for Purpose.
Yes.
First of all, what do you, or how do you define the word purpose?
Great question.
Absolutely.
And depending on who you're talking to, whether they are people of faith or no faith, everyone will have a different definition of purpose. But for us in the Christian arena, purpose is really us coming into a greater understanding as to what God has for us. We are all His creation. So He has created all of us, regardless if we have faith or no faith.
Yes.
But purpose is us sensing that there's a call upon our lives. And there are times when it's in the corporate world, and there are times when it could be in the Christian arena. But it's you sensing that God has a call for my life. And sometimes you're not able to explain it that clearly to family or to friends, but for whatever reason, you can sense it in your core. Like for me, from an early time, I recognized that I love people, that God has called me for people. Over 25 years ago, I just noticed that I had a desire to help people to develop and to grow and to discover who they are, to discover their gifts then. So for me, purpose is really coming in alignment with God's plan for your life and let Him lead you. And sometimes the purpose is really bigger than any one thing. Sometimes we wrap it around one thing, and when we're out of it, we're struggling. If you're a basketball player, you might think your purpose is only to be a basketball player, but it could be a totality. Now you're an analyst. Can be talking about the very sports that you played.
Right.
So sometimes your purpose is really communication.
Right.
But we think that maybe it's just playing basketball, and the moment we're done, we're wondering, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And God is saying, your job, your purpose was always communication, touching lives, encouraging, motivating, inspiring. So now you transition from playing on the field to now playing in a different arena.
Kirk, the title of your book, Release for Purpose, it's such a powerful phrase. I found so much power in it. And how has that release shown up personally for you?
Well, great question. So 10 years ago when this came to me, the aspiration came to me, again, as I said, I always knew that God has called me for people. And I just sensed that He was telling me to put it in a book. And I was sharing briefly with someone that I was just telling someone what I wrote in chapter 1, Unmasking Fear's Deception. And how this lady's she wanted, just as if she was willing to cry. And I was asking her, is everything okay? And she said, right now I'm struggling with fear. I sense there's a call upon my life, but fear is as if I'm imprisoned. So for me, over a decade ago, I could sense it. I didn't know how to articulate it, but I could sense that He has a call that is even bigger than project management. He has a call that's even bigger than prison ministry, that's bigger than global ministries that I've been involved with. And as I've been yielding myself, I can see it manifesting in different ways. So yeah, one of the things is in this book, and then some other things that I'm involved with that I'm hoping later on I can come back and even share. But really, it's understanding that he has something inside of all of us, and the world is waiting. There's someone's healing that's locked up in you. There's someone's house that's locked up inside of you. There's someone's deliverance that's inside of you. And as you get an opportunity to be released and share, it would be amazing how we can open doors for others, whether it's spiritual, emotional, and on it goes.
I want to go back to something earlier.
Yes.
And Kirk and I, we grew up together, and I am so proud of you men to see that you have taken on this task and finished something that you started, released for purpose. And as you said, we're all here for purpose.
Yes.
And you said something, breaking the chain, and fear is a chain.
Yes.
And
yes.
and I think that's one of the biggest chains that have held most of us back.
Yes.
Because we all have something that we want to do,
Yes.
but the fear of change hold us.
Yes.
Tell us, how did you decide to move from fear and step into the arena and say, okay, you know what, this is it?
We hear scriptures. For those of us who have been around church for a while, we hear scriptures. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and a sound mind. But we have to be willing to start looking in the mirror and understand what is the genesis. So in chapter 1, I talk about recognize. There's a framework. This book is pinned on a framework, a reach framework, and every letter is an element of that framework. And the R is to recognize. And under the R is unmasking fear's deception. Unmasking it. Being able to pull back the curtain and understand fear for what it is. Why am I fearful? Yeah. That's the thing we have to ask ourselves. Where did it come from? Because yes, God has built us in such a way that if there's a burning stove, we know by design, if we were to put our hand on that burning stove, it would burn us. Yes. Now, there are people who like to play with snakes, but I personally wouldn't be playing with a rattlesnake.
No, same here.
So there's a natural, innate thing that's built in us to tell us that there's danger. But what has happened is fear that somehow, sometimes whether it's from our environment, whether it's from our own, I call it self-imposed limitations. So in my case, the fear was being triggered from the lack of education, not having, whether it's a master's degree, or at the time didn't feel as if I was even a household name. No one knows me. And those are some of the things that fear was saying to me. Really, if you write a book, who is going to buy it anyway? No one knows you.
Fear.
So fear, as soon as you start to unpack and start to personalize that scripture and take it for what it is, that God has not given me a spirit of fear. So this thing, whatever you're telling me that I don't have, I can get. Whatever fear is telling us that we don't have, we can acquire. If it's saying we don't have education, we can acquire education. If it's saying we don't have money, we can get money. If it's saying we don't have resources can be had. So whatever fear is telling us that we don't have today, we can.
Cultural fear.
It could be a cultural fear, and we now have to start breaking out. And one of the things I've talked about in the book, really overcome fear, is start doing the things that fear is telling you cannot do.
Wow.
And do it while you're fearful.
Well, we know what fear stands for, right?
Yes.
False evidence appearing real.
Yes.
You mentioned something about REACH.
Yes.
The acronym.
Yes.
Give us briefly what it was about.
Yes. So REACH, this framework that the Holy Spirit gave to me, and it's amazing how the Lord, as I told you, the 10 years wasn't time wasted. It was preparation. The line of work that I'm in, I'm able to travel back and forth across Canada on behalf of the government. And while I was in Victoria, BC, I'm in the hotel after finishing work. And this framework came to me. At the time, it was just REACH. And I'm thinking REACH is just meaning I'm reaching for something. And I felt as if the Holy Spirit is telling me, you're away from all of the noise. I want you to settle down. And I sat and I started writing out. So the R is for recognize, E is for embrace, A for assess, the C is to choose, there's a choice, and then the H is to hope. And of course, I break out and go deeper for each of them. For example, recognize, unmasking fears, deception.
Well, this is honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you because there's so many of us out there, including myself, that know that we have something greater inside of us.
Yes.
But something is holding us back, right? And I'm sure that in the process, and you mentioned something earlier that I want to go back to.
Yes.
You said for 10 years, the dream was on hold.
Yes.
It was in the development state.
Yes.
Even though you did not see it in front of you, but behind the scenes, God was working on you behind the scenes to put it together.
Yes.
Talk about how you overcome the doubts and how you overcome the self-thought, that the voices in your head are telling you, what are you doing? Like, who in your family wrote a book? Like, what do you know about writing a book?
Yes.
Like, who do you see around you that wrote a book for you to have this vision to write a book? How did you bypass all that blockage?
Oh my goodness, this is so great. So interestingly enough, this God of ours is something else. So the very fear, and you've mentioned false evidence appearing real, God gave me a different principle to dismantle fear. And it is F for face it with honesty. Acknowledge, why am I afraid? Sometimes we're trying to solve things that we won't even acknowledge. What exactly are we trying to solve? So we need to be able to face honestly, why am I afraid? And once we start unpacking, why am I afraid? Where did this come from? And in there I continue to go through the whole principle as the Lord was giving it to me. The E is to examine its source.
Where it's coming from?
Where is it coming from? And God has already shared with us that God has not given us a spirit of fear. So whenever that fear is coming, we already know, because God told us, that it didn't come from Him. So as we start to honestly assess, I'm afraid of this thing because of this reason. One of the things, public speaking, it is depending on what stats you look at. They said over 80, if not 85% of North Americans are afraid of public speaking. And right now, as your listeners are watching us, their people will avoid a job or a role if it's going to push them out.
100%, yeah.
So they would rather to stay in the background.
Comfort.
I'm going to say something I never said to anyone, and this is not a show for it, but I'm going to admit something. For the longest time, I avoided speaking in public.
Yes.
I would not go in public places. I would shy away because of fear. When I was growing up, I stuttered so bad that whenever I speak, folks will laugh or make fun. And I use that fear to lock myself in a box. And I would not want to be around large groups of folks. And that fear held me captive for years.
Yeah, it can.
Years.
It can, yes.
And it was one day I was at church, and and the same Bible verse that you read.
Yes.
What got to me was that fear was stopping me from helping someone else.
Yes.
Because I found that God gave me something that wasn't for me. It was to help the next person.
Yes.
And because of fear, it became about Everton.
Yes.
And He said to me, it's not about you.
Yes.
I've given you something that the world needs
Yes.
to hear. Today, I'm in real estate.
Yes.
Speaking to clients every day.
Yes.
For a guy who could not speak. I didn't want to speak.
Yes.
Helping families get into homes.
Yes. Yes.
So this book here, when I saw it, it really hit a core.
Yes.
Because so many folks out there, Kirk, are hiding behind this wall of fear.
Yes.
And some of them are fear because someone around them told them something that's not true about who they are.
Yes.
Or they have not seen anyone do what they want to do. And they have this grand idea that I want to do this, but how can I do it? Because no one have done it that I know.
Yes. Yes.
And to overcome that barrier, so that you can be, this book here, I truly believe are going to touch lives.
Yes.
Are going to heal homes, are going to heal individuals, are going to help individuals.
Yes.
What if you decide to hide behind fear?
Yes. And thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable, and us being friends over 2 decades. I'm privy to many of what Everton spoke about, and you wouldn't tell today because he's such a great communicator. So great, and communicate, touch you from the core. He has a good way with connecting with people from the core. So the Lord has been amazing in allowing you to activate faith. At one point you decided, I'm going to activate faith.
Yeah.
And here in the book I wrote, fear and faith cannot occupy the same space.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
One has to be in control. So to finish off fear, activate faith, and then the R here is to repeat until you get a breakthrough. Because sometimes it doesn't happen the first time around. You want to do something and it didn't work out, and you just got to keep doing it until you become comfortable. Even coming in here, it's interestingly enough, initially I was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I spent all of that time writing the book. I haven't done anything publicly talking about the book. And I was reminded, you can't be talking about fear and afraid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because then I would become a hypocrite. Yeah. So right away I called back Everton and I said, oh yeah, I'm coming on, and it will be an opportunity for me to talk about the book. But it is an amazing journey, I can tell you that. It has just been, and I'm still going through the whole journey. The last few days, I've just been reading the book, and some of the things are hitting me. It's so fresh. I'm like, oh my God, when I was writing, maybe I didn't get a chance to absorb this. So even for myself, I'm reading, going through, expanding, breaking out some of these principles, because as you can see, the book was written in such a way to allow it to be read, in a few sessions, so that people can move to application right away, execution. And so the book was written from that vantage point. What I've read, I'm now going to apply it. I'm going to execute it and keep doing it until I see the desired results.
So on that note,
Yes.
many people struggle to discern their true purpose.
Yes.
What guidance or exercises can you offer our audience and the people in their lives that they can share with who want to step out confidently into their calling but feel stuck?
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Loaded.
Especially since you're telling me the book is kind of like a little manual.
So this book is loaded with a roadmap.
Yeah.
There's some things that one can do. Us coming from the faith arena, there are times when we might have the opportunity of having maybe a spiritual person in our lives that might be able to, whether it's prophesied to us. For us growing up, we've had great mentors that's able to tell you what you're good at. I sense the Lord is calling you at this. But one of the things I've talked about in the book, practical things, sit down and start writing out. What excites you? What are you passionate about? What is it that you would do even if you're not being paid? For example, for me, I've been doing prison ministry over 20 years. There's no money associated with serving. I've been going to global missions for the last 10 years. When I go on those trips, I pay my way. There's no money. So it's really start sitting down and writing down. And if you're a person of faith, because one can have a lot of lofty ideas, and that might not necessarily be where the Lord is leading you, but to have an idea and put it in front of the Lord. Lord, all these things I'm thinking of, is this what you're saying for my life? For someone that's non-faith, not a person of faith, they said, well, that's great. I'm listening to you guys, and it seems as if you're people of faith. I'm not a believer. I'm an agnostic, or I'm atheist. Same goes for that person, is to be able to figure out, what is it you love? What are you passionate about? What is it you want to give back to this world?
I like that, because I know that people, when you're asked that question, even myself sometimes, and I know from others, they say, but I don't know what I'm passionate about, but I don't know what I'm loved. But I like that third line that you just shared.
Yes.
What is it that you can give back?
Yes.
How can
Yes.
you help?
Yes.
Start from there.
Yes.
Yeah?
And it would be amazed though, there are times where the things that we're doing start to lead us in helping us to understand. Because even for me, it wasn't overnight that I got a good sense of my purpose. So there are times when, as you're traveling on your journey, as you're doing things, you notice that everything seems to be leading down a certain path. You have this empathy and compassion for people. Now, some of the people were involved with global missions and NGOs. Some of those people just have that big heart, and they always want to look for opportunities to alleviate poverty. And everything they do is geared towards how can we make life better for others? How can we uplift? How can we, like the title you have here, level up? How can we help people to level up?
Yes.
You know. But look, great question. Oh my goodness, you have a lot of tough questions.
We have to get you back on the show because there's so much more in this book that I want to dive into.
Yes.
And one thing I wanted to ask you is, so many times we start, I think my mic died on me, so sorry about that. We will just share mic here. Thank you. We always start or tend to start something, but how did your faith took you to the finishing line?
Great question. Oh, you guys have so many tough questions. When you're sensing, so when it came back to me full circle, this desire, and that came back after a decade, this time around, it came back with a different level of intensity.
Wow.
There was a fire. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt that this time around, there was like a velocity to it.
Urgency.
There was an urgency that I must do this. And he said, well, Kirk, if you have waited 10 years, what would have been the big deal if you wait another year? But I sensed that now was the time. There's a scripture that I like. They talk about Jesus in the New Testament. And it is said that when Jesus was getting ready to come into Jerusalem, that Jesus told the disciples, I want you to go and you'll find a colt, a little donkey, and the owner, you're going to tell him to release, give him to me, because I have purpose. He has never been ridden before. And interestingly enough, and I was saying to Everton the few days when we were chatting, that in all of us, there's something, there's a gift, there's an ability, there's a skill that has never been used before. And as if it's waiting for the right moment to be tapped into. So people would say, well, I didn't know that you have this in you, podcasts and all that stuff, but it was always there. It was always there. So whatever that thing is, many times it's in us, and there will come an opportune time where it's tapped into. And Jesus said, I want you to bring that thing to me. And of course, the scripture led us to believe or shared with us, or Jesus rode that little donkey that was never ridden before. And so it is with life. Life is calling in all of us. There's a talent in you that has never been used before. There's a gift in you that has never been used before.
So, Kirk, sorry to cut you.
Yes.
We are about to run out of time, and I
Yes.
want folks to know how
Yes.
to get this book.
Yes.
Released for Purpose, Breaking the Chain. And after you're broken the chain, I love the ending. It says here, Unlocking Destiny.
Yes.
So where can we get this book? Tell us.
This book is on Amazon today, about .ca.com. It has many other places where books are sold, Barnes and Nobles, and many other platforms where books are sold. Equally as well, my website is behind. I'm not able to share the website address, but pretty soon I'm expecting my website to be live. Same name, full name that's on the book, releasedforpurpose.com. Same ID, if you type in .ca, you will find it as well. My website hopefully should be out in the next 2 weeks. So people can either buy it on my website, but today they can find it on Amazon and many other platforms where books are sold.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. And please go get this book, Released for Purpose, Breaking the Chains, and Locking Destiny. Glad to have you guys on. Thanks again for joining us. Pam, any last words?
Well, we live in confusing times.
Yes.
We're all chasing this purpose.
Yes.
But you're kind and you're honest.
Kirk D. Campbell's new book, Released for Purpose, Breaking Chains, Unlocking Destiny, is live on Amazon. Get your copy today.